homebistro.com. Freshly prepared, home-delivered, restaurant-quality gourmet meals delivered straight to your home. Choose from over 50-plus gourmet meal options cooked by world-class chefs and delivered frozen, ready to eat within minutes and no commit. Welcome to the one-shop gourmet food delivery, specializing in affordable options to eat right and feel great. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. Every ingredient is handpicked to the highest standard. And why you should buy from homebistro.com? Restaurant quality, made with natural ingredients, delivered right to your door. Overnight shopping is available. Diabetic, paleo, heart health, and vegetarian options to eat. Doing business since 1999. Courteous, knowledgeable, and professional support. Complete PCI compliant SSL security ordering, and great meals. Choose from some of my favorite dishes: the Mediterranean chicken with orange honey sauce, the charbroiled chicken romesco, or the grilled chicken breast with sweet and spicy vegetables. No matter what you choose, you can't lose with homebistro.com. Eat great, feel good, and save some money with homebistro.com. Hit the link in the description section below for more information. Located in Henderson, Nevada, bulksupplements.com supplies over 400 pure nutritional supplements, ingredients to hundreds of thousands of consumers and manufacturers. All of their products are available from grams to metric tons through their online store at bulksupplements.com. Orders received 4 noon Pacific Standard Time ship the same day. Their FDA registered CGMP manufactured and distributing facility has a staff over 60 full-time employees that take pride in providing excellent customer service and producing quality products for their customers. The wellness of the community is of the utmost importance to Bulk Supplements. It's dedicated to maintaining all health code and government regulation. Each supplement is tested in their in-house laboratory before distribution, ensuring that all products are safe for consumption. For any additional testing, they utilize reputable and vetted US-based independent labs. Customer service is available 7 days a week from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time through live chat, phone, and email. Bulk Supplements products are produced in an FDA registered and inspected manufacturing facility. So if you want quality supplements at a quality price, Bulk Supplements is the company for you. Bulk Supplements, clean and pure bulk supplements. Check the link in the description section below for more information. TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. Who That family, check out the Pro Shop. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform stores where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who That too.
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. #1 sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies and the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game, party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Payton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Encapsulize the season and what your thoughts are on it.
Well, look, there's so much that went into it. The first thing, obviously, in light of this year's season and all the testing and COVID protocols, I thought this team, particularly this team, and I told them afterwards, was outstanding in so many areas relative to some of the adversity and distractions. And I thought it was a tough-minded group. I was proud of them. I mean, it's going to end well for one team, and having experienced that before, we know what that's like. But I thought on a number of occasions, when it would have been easy to look at it, with a glass half empty type of outlook, I thought these guys really battled, and that was encouraging. I mean, I thought we had good leadership. We had a good mix of veteran, young players that contributed, a lot of players that contributed. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
I'm thinking about that in particular. What was it like this season? Just having to turn the focus on to football when something so serious was kind of happening all across the country.
Yeah, I think in a number of different ways it became a positive outlet. I think for us, I think we were smart enough and obviously fortunate enough to still have real good jobs. I think when you look around the country and how this affected many people relative to their work, that's something that I don't think anyone took for granted. And then probably like every other team, we're kind of routine driven where you begin to get in the schedule, and although it's different, every morning you're in the COVID trailer, and then the next step is, filling out your email that you get every morning that you have to with your temperature in it, and then meetings, and you kind of get, into this season routine, and it's long, but it can go by pretty quick, and you lose track of, the weeks, the months, and you're really opponent driven relative to what week are you in, when's the bye week, that kind of thing. But I think there's so much that took place during the year, and I haven't even dived or even approached all the unrest in our country relative to so many topics. I think that this locker room and playing these games, it wasn't a respite for these players, but a way to help in some regards. I think we look at it that way. I think the league did a real good job, all things considered, the challenges they had when you look at the amount of players and the amount of coaches and the logistics in a difficult year.
My first way to help you meant just help regular people get through this. Is that what you meant by that?
So many different ways. Yeah, I mean, that's, for the people that are looking forward to, some entertainment or some hope on the weekends. But also many of the causes our players, to start the year. The Say Her Name campaign that our leadership looked at as an important part of the Saints season. I could go on and on.
Sean, first, thanks for bearing with us all year with this stuff going on, and Doug and PR and them for making sure we were taken care of. You guys made it possible to get through it, so thanks for that. But I'm curious, atmospherically, just with no fans in the stadiums and stuff like that, is there anything looking back that was a surprise at all, like with the impact of that?
Yeah, good question. So much of change you get used to, then it becomes habit, and then it becomes normal. So I think when we go back to fans in the stadiums, whenever that happens, that will be change and a welcoming change. I think there'll be a handful of things maybe that, having gone through this, that will be adjusted maybe, and we'll realize there's certain things we could do maybe at a distance more than we have in the past. What would have been the biggest? Let's see. I think the travel and getting to these various cities and hotels where it's just you and there's no one else, and then the restrictions at the hotel where you pick up a pregame meal or even an evening snack. There's no tables and everyone's eating in their rooms. There were so many things that were, I don't want to say challenging, but just ones that you were just like, man, it's hard to have your group together. But after, on the practice field that existed, and then following a practice or in our team meeting space that became the field house or the indoor, we were able to conduct some of those things. But I think there were hundreds of changes, and some of them I think will be adopted, and some of them, probably a large amount of them, will eventually go back to what was the old norm.
And you guys have some changeovers, some guys leaving. I'm just curious. There seems to be like a lot of speculation about Ryan Nielsen, and people are speculating on maybe the impact of that, or someone being upset or anything like that. Are you guys good there? Like, how did that kind of?
We're outstanding. I just literally, he was just in my office 60 seconds ago. We're fantastic. Fired up. He's returning. Every once in a while in this business, you have talented people, and you work hard, and they have other opportunities, and then every once in a while you go into recruiting mode. And listen, he's someone that very soon you're going to see as a head coach at the NFL level, and he's extremely talented. And I'm fired up that he's returning, and I'm fired up that he's signed on for 3 more years. But I think he's going to be one of those guys, just like we're seeing with Dan Campbell, and soon to see, I'm sure, with Dennis Allen. He's going to be one of those guys that before long, it won't be long, there will be a head coach in this league.
Hey, Sean, along those lines, what's your philosophy on keeping your staff together and also wanting some of your guys to get promotions? It's got to be a delicate balance, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's always been, honestly, look, periodically you'll see something that said the Saints denied permission. Occasionally an assistant coach will ask me, look, it's going to be easier for me if you do that, because I'm not at that moment in time interested in that job. And I get that. And so typically team to team in our league, I'm proud of the number of guys we've had come through here and go on. Doug Marone, who ended up becoming a head coach in college in the NFL. Mike News just won a MAC championship, was an assistant here and became the head coach there at Ball State. Dennis Allen, obviously. Aaron Cromer went on to become an offensive coordinator. Terry Fontenot's now the GM of Atlanta. Brian Pace, the GM of the Bears. I could go on and on with guys that have seen promotions, and that's something that I know Mickey and I both look at as a positive. Mr. B once came to see me and said, "Hey, we got a lot of these guys interviewing, Coach." And I said to him, "Mr. B, it's not a concern." I said, "The concern should be when no one has any interest in talking to any of your people." And so this year's no different. Just finished watching Dan Campbell's, a little bit of his press conference, and it was exciting, just to see him. I've been with Dan for a long time now in New York and Dallas, of course, here, and I tried to hire him here a number of occasions. Dennis just returned from an interview with the Eagles. So there's a number of things that are potentially happening, and that means we're winning, and that means we're doing a good job, and so I'm encouraged for those guys.
Yeah, Sean, I was going to ask you, you said you and Ryan were fired up. Was that because you were watching Dan Campbell's press conference and he got you fired?
Well, he just finished. Now, Dan Campbell's press conference took the better part of an hour and a half, so I have to send him a text on that. Maybe that was just because of Zoom. But he did great, I thought. And you guys that have been around him understand his passion. We're in that passion business. And no, Ryan had just poked his head in. We were going through a few different things, and then the noon hour came. But I think that that's the business we're in, and we're looking for coaches. We're looking for scouts. We're looking for anybody who's working in the football operations side, and for that matter, working for the Saints, because I know probably for Dennis Lauscha and everyone relative to what they're doing with the Pelicans, we're in the business of people that are passionate about their jobs, and if you focus on the end of winning and doing your best, I think the other things kind of take care of themselves. And I can draw on my experiences as an assistant and just know that it winds up working out. And so when you see it, literally, for someone like Dan, it's exciting.
What up to the Black and Gold family members in the live stream? Much love to you and Yarn. Welcome to another episode of the Sports Coma TSC, end of the New Orleans Saints season press conference and more. Chiming in on this thing. And of course, that's Coach Payton. Coach Payton sharing a few thoughts with the media upon the end of the Saints season, unceremoniously leaving the playoffs after a not too good loss by double digits to a team we beat twice in the regular season by double digits, losing to them at home. It kind of eats at your craw. And really, I mean, if anything, man, I really do promote people. We got young people listening to the show. If you ever decide to go into the media side of things, always decide to keep it real and ask better questions, because my goodness, we could have had a lot better questions than some of the questions that these people were asking on this press conference. I even had one guy up there DSing his tail off, man, like Sean Payton was Superman. Thank you for saving us. And what the hell are you talking about, man? Stop DSing. I mean, good Lord. Just ask the damn questions that the people want to know. It kind of peeves me a bit because they keep these people away from you where you can't get the truth. And then of course they write these soft pieces, these cotton ball pieces where you can't get the absolute facts of what's going on. But anyway, welcome to the Great Saint Think Tank, where we do keep it real here. And like I always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports family. I'm Big Q chiming in on this one. This is the Great Saint Think Tank, also known as the Sports Coma. The best and brightest of the Who Dat Nation is in the building. Much love to all you guys. Thank you for joining me for Thursday's show. Please hit up on the like button if you hadn't already hit the like button. I appreciate y'all for being here. Appreciate y'all giving me y'all time today on this Thursday episode of the Coma. And like always, man, this has been a very, very interesting season. Like I said, I always pay attention. What's going to happen in the playoffs will decide ultimately how the team looks overall. And of course, the end result moving into this offseason is once again, we're at the part of correction. Some kind of way we had a flaw in the design, some kind of way we failed to reach the apex of what we were striving for. And anything less than a Super Bowl trophy is a failure. So, with that being said, we ultimately move forward with the mentality that change is upon the Who Dat Nation. The team is losing assistant coaches like we knew they would to rivals or other teams outside. Dan Campbell signed a 6-year deal with Detroit. It was official. He's taking Aaron Glenn with him. And there'll be other guys that he'll pick from the staff for Sean Payton, trying to do his best to try to at least keep some of these guys here. Ryan Nielsen was a good decision to keep Ryan Nielsen here. I know a lot of people upset about the Ryan Nielsen situation, but nonetheless, he had to keep Ryan Nielsen here. Ryan Nielsen is a major part of the defense. And eventually, I think Ryan Nielsen, eventually he'll try to keep him in-house as long as possible. Of course, you're looking at guys like Dennis Allen, who didn't get the Philadelphia job. It was given to another guy, another coordinator got that job. So you might have Dennis Allen here for another year to go at it. But anyway, with that being said, a lot of questions upon Who Dat Nation as change moves forward. So thank you guys for being here. As I go down the roll call, Jerry Port Jr., who that to you? Good to see you in the chat. Morgan, who that to you? Good to see you. Cameron, who that to you? Brian Pearson, who that to you? All right, big ups to Torrey Shepard Sr. as well, who that to you? Gundam, who that to you, brother Gundam in the building. Tyra, who that to you, baby? Much love. Space Ghost, what's up, fam? Who that to you? Big ups Jamal Kellop, who that to you, fam? Good to see you. Swag fan, who that to you? Simply Tasha, who that to you? Good to see you in the chat. Ferg 318, who that to you as well. Dave Kemp, who that to you? Good to see you in the chat, bro. All right, who else we got? What's up, Hennessy? Hennessy Bastion, what's up, fam? Who that to you? Gabriel Thomas, who that to you, fam? Good to see you as well. KB, who that to you? Good to see you in the chat. All right, let me see what else we got here. Kim Phillips, what's up, Kim? Who that, bro? Who that, fam? Appreciate you for being here. All right, who else we got? Who that for life? What's up, fam? He said, I still can't believe we lost to the Bucks. A bit of denial because the questions are not asking, how did you lose? Was your scheme flawed? Was your team not prepared? What happened? Did you get any serious answers on this? And just like it always is, you go right into the offseason with very little answers coming from these people. It's quite amazing. But if you study film and you know about the Saints, you know about the history of the team, then you know. That's why I do not listen to national people. They don't know what they're talking about in terms of understanding the intricacies of what's going on with these people. You have a coach that's been here as long as Payton has been here, and a person that has been here in the Saints family members as long as I have, and many have, then you understand how stuff works. You understand how things are. And to a degree, you have to take onus when you start getting at these people. And you got to speak your truth because you realize not enough people out here are hitting these people with the right questions. So it's good to see guys like Matt Moscona go at Sean Payton. And I'm glad to be a part of the movement that's pushing that. Stop ingratiating yourself to these people. Stop it. And I'm saying that at everything, whether they're bureaucrats or whatever, I don't care. If they're not doing what they're supposed to do, they are not the power. You are. You are the power. So if they ain't doing what they're supposed to do, stop ingratiating to these people and go at them. Go at them with the truth. Go at them with the questions. And that's the reality of thing. And if you're real, you're going to answer the questions. If you're a fake, phony, baloney person, you're going to run from the questions. If you're immature and a lot of immaturities there, man, with these softball questions to these media, my goodness, this is the end of the season. It's going to get to a point where he's going to say, I'm not talking about that no more. And then any opportunity you have, the question would have happened in the season. It has been wasted because of your foolish attempts with these knuckle, garbage, foolish, stupid, chump, yellowback, spineless questions. Brian Pearson, who that to you? Morgan, who that to you? And all the family members, thank y'all for being here as well. Much love to you. Rob, what's up, Rob? Rob McCoy, who that to you? Bernard Stewart, who that to you? Said, can we get Watson from Houston? We'll go over that today on the show. I'm not going to be with you guys for a long show. We had a 4-hour show yesterday on our Wednesday show. We'll have a big show Friday show, a free for all type show, a Q&A show, where the family members can ask whatever questions. We'll do that tomorrow on Friday. Usually that's our preview show, but we ain't previewing the goddamn thing, but the couch. So, I mean, with that being said, we'll have a free fall. Any questions that you guys want to ask or anything that you guys want to say, you can feel free to chime in when we open up the lines for the Friday edition. It'll be a good show. Bernard Stewart, once again, big ups to you. Who that to you as well. All right, what else we got? Who else we got to give shots out here? Revolt, what's up, Revolt? Revolt Control in the building. All right, big ups to you as well, my friend. All right, who else we got chiming in? Boss Hawk, what's up, Boss Hawk? Who that to you, fam? Good to see you, bro. All right, who else we got? Young City Night Ward, who that to you? Elite, who that to you? What's up, Elite? Big ups, fam. All right, who else we got chiming in this thing? All right, Dave says, I must admit, Drew is the real GOAT. He was all tore up and still tried to get the black and gold, that Lombardi. Yeah, and see, Dave, that's well said, bro. And a lot of people still kind of upset, have a certain upsetness with Drew, and I get that. And most of the time, the quarterback, who is the leader of the team on the field, offensively speaking, will get a lot of the blame if the team fails. He had an interception in the matchup where he threw an interception. Then, of course, he had the popped up interception. There was it was just ridiculous, man. The only thing I know is if you're not a disciplined team, you're not gonna progress far in the playoffs. You're not gonna get to the Super Bowl if you don't have a certain level of discipline. And that's what I keep telling people about what goes on into what makes a champion. It's not as simple as just simply winning games. I mean, you win double-digit games in the regular season, right? Then you come into the playoffs, and then you won one game this year, and then you're done in the divisional round. And the furthest you've gotten in the last 4 years was just that. Big Buck, thank you for subscribing, fam. Who that to you, Big Buck? Much love, fam. Welcome to the Great Saint Think Tank. All right, Big Buck, subscribe. Much love, fam. All right, and the key to it all is like it take a certain mindset or a set of principles and ethics to be able to make it to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? It takes a certain energy, a certain harmony, a certain mindset. You must be disciplined because you must be able to keep the turnovers down while you're forcing the other team to commit turnovers. You cannot then give up 4 turnovers and get 0 turnovers in return. You're going to lose. And as we could tell, field position has not helped us in the playoffs. We keep saying field position. That does not help the Saints in the playoffs, quite obviously. The last couple of games we've lost, we were in our own building. We've lost. And then before all this junk got started, last year when we had the dome slam-packed, jam-packed, people cheering, the Saints didn't use that energy to propel them anywhere. And we keep asking that. Well, if you look at the mindset of a champion, and you can watch like documentaries from guys like Muhammad Ali, guys like Michael Jordan, guys that, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell, who might be probably one of the baddest basketball players that ever went down. He played in the era where he dominated. He played against guys like Will Chamberlain. This guy has 11 championship rings, man. And very few of the youngsters know who Bill Russell is and understand that this guy has 11 championship rings. I mean, this is ridiculous. He was a dominant figure in the NBA. And the reason why I bring those guys up is because they have literature out there, documentaries on them, and people ask them, even the coaches like Popovich, Phil Jackson, even Nick Saban, they give them an insight inside of the mindset of what it takes to be a champion. Not just one time, but a multiple champion. Mike Krzyzewski is another guy who's a multiple champion who excels at that highest level and not only just wins one time, but is able to keep repeating that feat, which is a very difficult thing to do. As is showed to you that the last time we had one was in 2009. That's a long time ago, isn't it? I mean, it's 2021 now. I mean, we've had 4 straight playoff failures. And of course, the question eventually will have to be asked to the Who Dat Nation. And you're going to have to put this in your head is, can this guy win it? Can he win? Has it passed him off to a degree where all he is now is just a guy that gets your team to the playoffs, but he can't get you to the promised land? I mean, is that a situation that we have to face? Because after you watch 4 straight seasons of losing and falling short of the goal, and by far this year was the most talented team that you ever had. The question has to be asked is, can he win it? Can he win it again? And the reason why I asked these rest of these great coaches that had all this great success and winning championships is because they speak to the mindset of certain principles and integrity and family centered and and discipline and all this kind of stuff. This is what these guys preach, that you need to be a multiple champion. Look it up. But the thing is, as we can see, it's not necessarily all so much about schematics as our personnel as we had the scheme. We had all the people you could possibly imagine. We got the Malcolm Jenkins. We got the Emmanuel Sanders. We had the offensive line. We had the defensive line. We had everything. We had the secondary guys there, and those guys were healthy at the right time. We had everything it takes. We had the mental and the psychological advantage. We had the home field advantages, if there's such a thing. We had it all. But all you have here in your hands right now is a big steaming pile of nothingness. A big steaming pile of hurt. A big steaming pile of frustration. A big steaming pile of confusion. A big steaming pile of everything that you don't want. All that crap that you don't want, you sitting up in your hand saying, what the hell am I going to do with this, Q? What am I going to do with this? And that has to be asked, man. And people, listen here. I know they got people out there that it's going to be like that for Payton. That's going to say, no, this is my coach. They're going to always have a remnant of that type of person, man. That's why it's up to the people that are the people that's moving forward to be able to move past this thing, because you can't hold on to the past if you're trying to get into the future. You can't do it. You cannot do it. So it all be said, do you have what it takes to fix the solution, the problem? I asked that question last year after the last defeat. Did we learn anything? Did we? As this thing is more psychological, I think, than anything. You have to have accountability, man. You've got to have accountability. You've got to. Letting them dance and all this stuff is cool and all that. But when it come down to like when you sneaking off and doing stuff that you ain't supposed to do, or with you dropping passes, dropping interceptions, there has to be some form of camaraderie. Not camaraderie. There has to be some form of accountability to be able to punish players when they don't perform their duty, because they still going to get paid game to game. So once again, we have to eat that, man. So we're going to move forward. But once again, like I said, family, I'm not going to be with you guys long on today's show. I'm not going to be with you long on today's show. I'm going to cover a few notes and items, and then I'll return Friday, and we'll have a bigger show where we open up the lines so the family members can chime in and get it off their chest, voice your concerns. If you've got questions, please feel free to then put it on the show. As today, on Thursday shows, we don't usually open up the lines of communications for calls or what have you. So just be mindful of that. So without further ado, family, we'll get into some of these reports. Give me just a second, and we'll see about getting hold on just a second. Make sure I get this stuff set up right for you. Like I said, I won't be with you guys for a very long time, just enough to kind of go over a few news notes tonight. So please hit upon the like button. Please subscribe like Big Buck. Who that to you, Big Buck, and thank you for being here. Tyrese, what's up, fam? Who that to you? Lori, who that to you? And all the family members, thank y'all for being here on this episode of the Coma as we get going. So here we go. All right, here we go. And here we go indeed. Sean Payton fired up after the Saints kept assistant from LSU. Now, this is a part of it that happened because, of course, I do a show called Tough Tiger Talk for all of the if there are any LSU family members that is in the building, please feel free to look in the description section and sign up for Tough Tiger Talk. And as well as while you're down there, if you're a Pelican person, join up for the Pelican post-game report. Just simply hit the like button. Demi, who that to you, baby? Good to see you in the chat. Much love, fam. Appreciate you, Demi. What's up, Ben Wynn? Who that to you, fam? Good to see you in the chat as well. And big ups to all the family members for being here. Thank y'all for spending y'all time with the Coma. All right, and I mentioned Tough Tiger Talk because we have another platform, the Tough Tiger Talk, where we do LSU stuff. We have the New Orleans Pelicans channel, Pelican Post Game Report, which is is pretty good as well. Jeffrey, who that to you as well. And we do a lot of this. Now, I covered this report and the reason I'm bringing up the Tough Tiger Talks because from the LSU side, the coach Orgeron, who's their coach of the LSU Tigers, made an agreement. It wasn't written in stone, but Ryan Nielsen, who's the Saints defensive line coach, was all but done, was all but ready, and had accepted the job to be the defensive coordinator for LSU. Sean Payton then used language in his contract as an excuse to pull him away from it to keep him in New Orleans. Now, this man was really ready to move on. He has aspirations to be a head coach. To make the jump from a defensive line coach to a defensive coordinator would have been a good move, especially to do it at LSU would have been really fantastic. Gearing up as they're trying to reboot the offense, the championship offense of a year ago, to give him an opportunity to be relevant again. As Coach Orgeron has made several changes offensively speaking, getting a couple of understudies of Joe Brady, the really good offensive coordinator who's using Sean Payton's system in Carolina. He had a few understudies who worked with him in Carolina. Both of those guys are now, one of them, of course, Jake Peets is the OC, and the passing game coordinator is his assistant, DJ Mangas, who do have that Joe Brady philosophy. Anyway, Payton fired up, and he talks about it in this article. LSU still looking for a coordinator after reported negotiations with the Saints defensive line coach Ryan Nielsen fell through. And it had now been exactly 1 month since the Tigers fired coordinator Bo Pelini, who's garbage. The search has long since started to drag, but at least Tigers fans can't take solace in the fact that their NFL team will retain a highly regarded assistant. Football Scoop reported that Nielsen was close to joining LSU. He accepted the job as coordinator, to be honest with you. The Tigers also missed out on former Cincinnati defensive coordinator Marcus Freeman, who's a fantastic hire for Notre Dame. LSU has a lot to fix as defense fell back to earth in 2020 after a strong 2019 campaign. Now, LSU's loss is the Saints' gain as Sean Payton reacted to Nielsen's return via the team's website. And he basically said that we're fantastic, fired up that he's returning. He's told PFF guys, he's talking to PFF guys. That just show you how, he should never talk to those guys because they scum. They disrespected the Who Dat Nation. But, they just don't have the same ideas. Every once in a while in this business, you have a talented people and you work hard and they have other opportunities. And then every once in a while, you go into a recruiting mode. He's someone that's very soon you're going to see as a head coach at the NFL level. He's extremely talented, and I'm fired up that he's returning, and I'm fired up that he signed on for 3 more years. Well, the truth is, Sean Payton refused to let him go. He refused to let him go. And as a result of that, using language in his agreement, that he couldn't go to a college team, he ultimately worked out an extension with Nielsen to return. He wasn't going to let him out of this contract. So, listen, I think you wouldn't be happy to see that kind of thing happen when he agreed to be the coordinator for LSU, and all Payton had to do was release him from his contract, or if they wanted monetary compensation for them to buy him out of the contract, LSU would have readily paid for that. Instead, Sean Payton stonewalled him and kept him there for 3 more years, and of course gave him the title of assistant head coach, which was the title that Matt Campbell, who's now with Detroit, had. So Nielsen's 29, played under LSU's Orgeron on the defensive line at Southern Cal in the late 90s and early 2000s. His first coaching job as a volunteer was underneath Orgeron Southern Cal in 2002. See how this relationship thing worked? He later became Orgeron's defensive line coach at Ole Miss. He started his coaching rise through the college ranks before making his biggest splash at North Carolina State, where he coached up a first-round pick in Bradley Chubb. From 2013 to 2016, Nielsen was the defensive line recruiting coordinator, run game coordinator with the Wolfpack. He was also the Boyles Award candidate in 2015 as nation's top assistant coach. From 2017 through 2020, Nielsen had been the defensive line coach for the Saints. Saints have been readily productive in the trenches during that time. He's coached up some really good talent. He took Cam Jordan's game to another level. He's really helping Marcus Davenport see the light. He really took Trey Hendrickson and put him on to something major. That probably would be his biggest accomplishment, was what Trey Hendrickson was able to do this year. Could he do that same thing with Marcus Davenport? He also really seen some improvement and guys like Carl Granderson as well. So Ryan Nielsen is a guy that does a terrific job, and the defensive line was a strong suit of the Saints defense this year, even before the secondary came online. The defensive line was always running things. A couple of games they allowed 100 plus yards of rushing, but that's not necessarily all their fault. But overall, for the season, the defensive line was absolutely awesome. Orgeron had hoped to have an offense and defensive coordinator in place by the time the team and staff return on January 30th. He's halfway there. But Orgeron also noted the hire would come without any timeline. He got to look. But the reality is he should have been found a defensive coordinator. He's moving a little too slow. A lot of people are peeved about that he's taking so long to land a coordinator. And if one guy says no, you should immediately go to the next list of guys that is there to get the job done. So we'll keep monitoring that on the Tough Tiger Talk side of things. But a lot of people are quite peeved at how Sean Payton doing. But he's doing this to keep defensive or assistants on the team in place. He doesn't want to have too much turnover. Of course, Dennis Allen didn't get the Philly job. You got to already replace the cornerbacks, defensive backs coach, because Glenn is going to be a coordinator with Campbell. You got to replace the tight end because Campbell is the guy that went to take the head coaching job in Detroit. And by these, as these men start filling out their staffs, you might see more guys from the Saints plucked off of that, because I'm pretty sure Campbell is going to look to bring his offensive coordinator, and it might be another Saints guy. Could be an assistant like Lombardi. Could be Pete Carmichael, which would really be a thing that I'm really hoping for. I'm really hoping for one of these teams to offer Pete Carmichael a job, not because I want to lose him, but because I want Sean Payton to be able to understand that if to keep him, you're going to have to do two things: offer him more money and give him the ability to start calling plays. That's the real thing. I'm hoping somebody said, listen, Pete, come on up here. You can be the coordinator. I give you a raise. Plus, you can call your own plays. And he got to jump on that. He got to jump at that. And to keep him, it's like, Pete, I pay him whatever they pay, and I'll let you call plays too. So just to get that waffle sheet play sheet away from his hands and let somebody else, so we can have some balance and accountability there. So we'll see how it shakes. Still a lot of fun left. 5 potential painful 2021 Saints salary cap casualties. To go over this one from the Saints Wire. So now the Saints remain competitive in 2021. How? Their issues aren't just limited to complying with the salary cap. Once they're back beneath it, they have to focus on creating more resources to reload the roster after losing some of the 21 free agents. And we covered a lot of that yesterday. Please refer to that show. Crowding around the exit, Saints salary cap guru Kai Hartley, his official title as the Vice President of Football Administration, will have to put together his magnum opus and navigating it all of this year. Now, it doesn't help the list. Help that the list of possible cap casualties isn't as obvious as you would think. Linebacker Quan Alexander with that $13.4 million if released, and cornerback Janoris Jackrabbit Jenkins $7 million in possible savings are both candidates to be let go. But Alexander's injuries cloud things, and both of them play well enough for the Saints to try to retain them through pay cuts or restructured contracts. That's what I'm looking at. Restructuring contracts, although, Jackrabbit played really, really well this year. He probably would have did a lot better if he caught like the three or four interceptions he dropped last year. Ridiculous. There are other options for the Saints getting really desperate, like tight end Josh Hill, wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders, quarterback Taysom Hill, each of whom can between 2.6 and 5 million if cut. But that's only in the worst scenario, where other possible maneuvers New Orleans tries isn't enough. The other players on the list should be easier decisions to make. Still, we're headed for lean times in New Orleans as the team transitions from one era to another, and some good players are going to end up on the outside looking in because of it. Who are those guys? Well, this guy should have been gone last year. Nick Easton. Why? Because he makes too much money to be a backup. $7 million for a backup offensive lineman is strictly ridiculous. I've been saying that, and they were complaining about money when they released Larry Warford. Said that he's making too much money. He made $8 million. This guy making $7 million. So you complaining about Warford's $8 million, but you got Nick Easton that's playing behind him, is backup for $7. When did you get rid of the starter for the backup? And Nick Easton played all right in spots, but he was making way too much money. They never restructured his contract. They should have did it last year, but now they're looking to try to do it this year because they forced to. I never understood that. Never understood why they didn't cut Easton's contract. I didn't get that. Retirement could be an option for Easton after he suffered 3 concussions, and that's true too. Good point. The last of which ended the season on injury reserve. These brain injuries are serious. You get 3 concussions in the same year, man. You got to consider, the doctor going to tell you, you know what, you need to consider stopping this, man. For real. Easton started multiple games at guard last year, totaling 230 snaps at the left guard in relief of Andrews Pete, 332 snaps at right guard, where rookie draft pick Cesar Ruiz couldn't lock down a starting job. He'd be missed, but the Saints can afford to help here at a lower point. Releasing Easton would yield $6 million in cap savings. This is definitely something they need to do. Malcolm Brown, who's been instrumental for us and a major sticking point, he's the only true nose tackle that we have. That's exactly what he is. Everybody's kind of tweener defensive lineman. But Malcolm Brown, I said we could keep Malcolm Brown. He can have a restructured contract. I'm for keeping him. He fits really well there. And of course, I say that you can take his contract down. Now, Brown was the only true nose tackle on the roster last year. His skill and run defense showed most clearly in his absence. He missed 14, 15, and 16 weeks, 14, 15, 16 with injuries. And that's when Saints ceded the most rushing yards, 246 to the Eagles, 179 to the Chiefs, plus 90 in Week 16's win over Minnesota. The New Orleans has a good defensive line, but obviously they need someone like Brown to anchor it. Unfortunately, gaining $5 million in cap savings is too important to pass up. It's possible Brown's returns on a pay cut or restructure, but nose tackles aren't valued highly these days, and the Saints can't afford to replace it at a more affordable rate. That is true, but I still say you restructure Brown's deal to make it more favorable. Patrick Robinson, this dude is out of here. A constant bevy and storm of these damn hamstring issues. It's time to get rid of this guy. This was a bad move from the jump. And Patrick had his best year in New Orleans aside from a late season hamstring playing well. I don't know what he talked about. When asked to suit up in the pinch and accept a couple of passes, unfortunately, he had one good game, maybe 2. He's probably on his way out even after taking a pay cut in 2020. With a big contract extension on the horizon for Lattimore, it's time for the Saints to start cutting costs where they can. Releasing Robinson will create $2.6 million in cap savings, which isn't a lot on its own, but can rack up along with these other moves. The Saints had a few developmental players on the practice squad like Pale Grant Haley, who also got an interception, filling in for Robinson in Week 17, and undrafted rookie Keith Washington Jr., who I really wanted to see. We had a terrific training camp, but couldn't get on the field. Either of them should compete for Robinson's spot on the depth chart. How about some draft picks or cheaper veterans? But most certainly that guy needs to go. $2.6 million in cap savings. Latavius Murray is a name I really don't want to see on here, but the truth is he will have to restructure that contract. And of course, I really don't see him go, but this is definitely a possibility. It's a tough business. We have to cut Murray. Would be painful. He's been a good addition to New Orleans. 4.4 yards per carry in 2019 and 4.5 in 2020, where his highest since 2014 rookie year. He's arguably earned more touches than he's been given, and would have gotten more if the Saints didn't have one of the best football players in the sport today ahead of him on the depth chart. Doesn't mean anything. You still could play them both in the same backfield at the same time. You can even move Kamara out to the slot. You can move him out wherever you want him to be, the decoy attention away from Latavius Murray and be able to still pound the ball with Latavius Murray. Just take a little imagination. Unfortunately, the $2.5 million in cap savings New Orleans will recoup by cutting him is too much to pass up. Running backs are terribly underpaid these days. That's still very cheap. You're paying them that kind of money. It's not a bad deal. He can get a restructure, to stay, which means the Saints can get a similar production from a much cheaper player. I say you restructure him. The NFL is tough, off the cruel business. Where you going to find a guy rushing and giving you 4.5, almost 5 yards a carry, 2 rushes, first down? 2 rushes, first down. 2 rushes, first down. Latavius Murray. That's his nickname. 2 rushes, first down. We severely underutilized him, in particularly Sean Payton did. Severely underutilized Latavius Murray. We could have moved Alvin Kamara all over the damn field, even line him up at wide receiver when the wide receiver's hurt, and still had Latavius Murray on the field to be able to pick up short yardage gains for us. I mean, we could have definitely because Alvin is so versatile, you can use him like that. So, I mean, with that being said, the $2.5 million in 2020 is worth more than the entire 3-year rookie contract of Tony Jones Jr., who signed with the Saints as an undrafted. Listen, I understand that Tony Jones does have a future, but that's where you would plug him for where Dwayne Washington would be. But you need a proven back. Something happens to Alvin, you still need a veteran back that you can count on to get those yards. And with a new quarterback, whoever they may be, you're going to have to lean on that running game. Do you really want to put an untested untested rookie running back there behind Alvin Kamara, or you want to go with 2 rushes first down, Latavius Murray? Just restructure the contract and bring him back. And of course, Tommy Morstead. Yep, I saved the most difficult cap casualty for last. It's not difficult at all. It's time for him to go, man. I love Tommy Morstead, but it's time, man. Blake Gillikin is already there. It really was supposed to make that move early this year and save that money on Tommy Morstead. You know, it's about that time, but it's fitting for him and Drew to go out at the same time. Tommy Morstead is going to go out with Drew. They're going to both retire at the same time, number 9 and number 6. The greatest quarterback the Saints ever had and the greatest punter the Saints ever had. In my opinion, Drew's the first ballot Hall of Fame, and so is Thomas Morstead. Thomas Morstead pretty much had a hand for a foot, but you punch the ball and he's almost like you couldn't throw the ball in the corner of the end zone any more accurate than this guy's foot was. He was absolutely awesome for his entire career. The $2.5 million in cap savings the Saints will receive by cutting Morstead is valued at more than $2.2 million rookie deal, but Blake Gillikin assigned to join the team last offseason, and Gillikin is a hell of a punter in his own right. Morstead's production spiraled in 2020 after career best performance in 2019 when he posted a career high 43.1 yards per punt, and along with just 58 yards, just 23 of his 62 punts, 37.1% landed inside the opposing 20-yard line inside the red zone. And maybe Morstead would be a locked return if he kept up his forever underrated pace, but I still see he would have been gone. But he took a big tumble in 2020. When they put a rookie, they started the season off with 2 punters. I guess they second thought the motion that, listen, we need to cut Tommy Morstead. We can free up that money. Because remember at that time, they was trying to chase Jadeveon Clowney. They had not, or, were looking at trying to give that contract to Alvin Kamara. They were chasing Jadeveon Clowney. Remember that? Started the season with 2 punters. I guess at that move, they were thinking about making that move, but ultimately they came up with, Blake Gillikin mysteriously got hurt and they IR'd him for the whole year just to keep him away from people. Just telling you that. And also, Bob Rose coincides with that thought process as well. But he's going to be gone. Drew and him both leads together, man. Those are 2 of the greatest that ever do it. So, of course, you have saved some money, $2.5 million in savings with the Tommy Morstead as well. Latavius Murray, I say restructure and bring him back. Patrick Robinson, get the hell out of here. Malcolm Brown, restructure him and keep him. And Nick Easton, he got to go, man. All those concussions and, by his time. All right, and finally, let's go to this article over here. And we'll talk about this one. Insider from NFL Insider asking price for Texans Deshaun Watson. Jets, Dolphins are leading contenders, but sleepers are lurking. Now, why the hell would the Jets and the Dolphins be contenders for him? Well, I can understand the Jets, but why the Dolphins? They got, they just be throwing crap out there. But anyway, let's see what this article had to say about what they want for Deshaun Watson. A lot of people don't know, but if you're the Jets general manager, Joe Douglas, and you hear that a 25-year-old 3-time Pro Bowl quarterback is on the market, don't you have an obligation to at least find out how much a trade will cost? Luckily for Douglas, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler was asked the question Wednesday on Get Up, as you could, what would you expect? Deshaun Watson sounds like a man who's played his last game for Houston Texans, won't come cheap. All right, so what would it take? Well, let's look at it. What would it take to land this guy, right? For those who keep asking that question, let's get to the bottom of it. All right, the floor would be, the floor would be 3 first-round picks at a minimum. People I talked to around the league are unanimous on this. They said 3 first-round picks at a minimum. And not only 3 first-round picks, but a high pick, which is why the Jets and Dolphins get implicated so often, because they have the 2nd and 3rd picks in the draft, while the Texans could use to get their franchise quarterback. They'll probably take some other pieces too. You're thinking young, ascending players on a rookie contract with other teams. The Texans could look to acquire an emerging veteran with those 3 picks as well. So there you go. And of course, Adam Schefter reported this, and this was, about a potential trade with the Jets and all this. Watson is disgruntled after being shut out and, making a process when it came to the Texans hiring general manager Nick Caserio Aside from the Jets and Dolphins, Fowler identified 3 sleeper teams in potential Watson trade. The Chicago Bears, as they looking for it, which is a pretty good thing, to be honest with you. The Carolina Panthers, because they're completely look like they're down on Teddy Bridgewater. They're giving up with him after 1 year. And the Washington football team. Now, those are all pretty good destinations because all of those teams need quarterbacks, especially the Bears. Ryan Pace is giving up so much. He gave up a handful of picks to bring Khalil Mack there with the Bears, and he's been doing. And this the goddamn guy that selected Mitchell Trubisky. Now you're looking for Deshaun Watson. Crazy, man. But the reality is that's not a bad look because Chicago needs a quarterback. Carolina also is looking to move on from Teddy Bridgewater, and Washington damn sure need a quarterback. So that's a lot of good teams. Now, Watson, who led the NFL with 4,823 pass yards this season, an incredible feat considering that 1 year ago the Texans traded wide receiver Hopkins to Arizona, and the man still got up and got his ball on. And of course, that's what they were talking about. Let me see if this and play a little of this from ESPN's First Take.
Texans do feel as though they have to make a trade. What would they be?
We're going to play this, family. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear this in the chat right here. Just let me know if y'all can hear.
Expecting to receive in return for, as you point out, a young superstar quarterback basically entering his prime.
Greeny, the floor would be 3 first-round picks at a minimum, and people I've talked to around the league are unanimous on this. And not only 3 first-round picks, but a high pick, which is why the New York Jets and Miami Dolphins get implicated so often because they have the 2nd and 3rd pick in this draft, which, the Texans could use to get their franchise quarterback and probably take some other pieces, too. You're thinking young, ascending players on rookie contracts with other teams. The Texans could look to acquire an emerging veteran with those 3 picks.
So to be clear, the 3rd pick in the draft, which the Dolphins have, is Houston's pick. That is a pick that they acquired in a trade from the Texans in the first place for Laramie Tunsil, so they would just be getting it back, which would be irrelevant but somewhat interesting. Meanwhile, what are people around the league speculating as far as the likeliest destination? What are you hearing would be the likely spots that he may wind up?
Well, we covered the Jets and Dolphins because they have the 2 first-round picks this year. They have the capital to do it, the cap space, all those things. But a couple sleepers for you, Greeny. Don't laugh. But the Chicago Bears, I know there are people in that building that are very high.
All right, that's a few of the so let's recap and go over this. What Fowler's talking about here and what it would take to land this guy. This is what they're saying. The floor would be 3 first-round picks at a minimum. That's what the insider is saying. But now, before we get into any conversation about any other team or whatever, that's what they want for this guy. 3 first-round picks. They want a high pick so they can, of course, see about getting a quarterback in the draft or something like that. So that's for the people that's actually in Q1. We go get Deshaun Watson. You think the Saints going to give up 3 first-round draft picks and they sitting up there, $100 million over the cap? I mean, think about that. And your best resources, a way to keep talent and stockpile talent into the future, would be using the draft because we don't know the uncertainty dealing with the C-19 situation. All that's a part of it that we have to factor in. There's absolutely no way the Saints organization give up 3 first-round draft picks to land a guy that they let pass several years ago. Did you get me? All right, GP, did you hear me? Did you get that? There was absolutely no way. So we keep hearing the chatter about family. Q1, we go after Deshaun Watson. Q, go get Deshaun Watson. I said, well, let me show them this so they can understand why that'll not happen. The Saints had an opportunity. I said it again. The Saints had an opportunity to land Deshaun Watson out of the draft out of Clemson. We knew he would be a good quarterback. When he was at Clemson, I knew he would be a good quarterback. I knew all of those guys that we passed on. Patrick Mahomes boys, we let go because we could have moved up a couple of picks and got that guy and not sat there and waited for him to fall to us. We could have got him. Deshaun Watson, we could have got Deshaun Watson as well. And you moved up to the point to get Lamar Jackson and then pick Davenport there. So these guys now are inside the top 5 of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL that we passed up on these guys. So now we expect the Saints who passed up on Deshaun Watson to go back and give up 3 first-round picks to get Deshaun Watson? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That's why I've been telling people that'll never work. That'll never work. That'll never work. Never. I've been saying that. You know, I've been saying that'll never work. It would not work. It would not work. It wouldn't work. The Saints need that draft capital to be able to build a team moving into the future. And besides, like I always say, we had these once in a lifetime generational talents like a Mahomes boys or Deshaun Watson or Lamar Jackson. These guys, you had access to all of them, and you let it just. We don't need them. We're gonna get whoever we got. We got Laddie Daddy. We got Davenport. You know, and we got what we got right now, which is a team that is busted. You know, we had a team that failed to get where they were supposed to go. They failed in their own building. They lost it by 10 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a team we beat by double digits in 2 regular season meetings. It shouldn't have happened like that. But the reality is now we sit up here with 2 reclamation projects for quarterbacks saying that these guys are quarterbacks. You know, it's just amazing. Now, if you had a Deshaun Watson, if you had a Lamar Jackson, if you had a Patrick Mahomes, boys, Drew Brees would have been gone several years ago. He would have been gone several years ago. He wouldn't have not come back. Drew would have been gone, and they would have already progressed and moved into the next realm of it, as opposed to us looking for a guy to lead the quarterback position. Now, that's you saying that you need a quarterback. In the mind of Sean Payton, which is a very strange mind, Sean Payton is saying that Taysom Hill is the quarterback. Didn't he not tell you guys that when the season started, that he begged Drew Brees, baby, please, baby, please, baby. You remember that? Remember I was saying that? Remember I sung the song, Breezy, come back. Hey, Breezy, you can blame it all. Remember I sung that? Yes. You know why? Because that's what he did to get Drew Brees to come back for 1 year. Well, guess what? Breezy came back, and Breeze he finished his obligation. Breeze is done. It's over with. Breeze will retire, just like Tommy Morstead will retire. And Sean Payton said that his guy that he believes in is Taysom Hill. Why? Because he gave Taysom Hill all that money. It's double-digit millions of dollars right now that's owed to Taysom in his second year. He's the guy that Payton chose to play in the month that Drew Brees went out and gave it all to Taysom. He didn't let Jameis Winston even sniff the ball in those games when Drew went out. The only time Winston played was when Drew got hurt in that game and he finished that game up. But then after that, it was all Taysom Hill. And people saying, well, Q, we need a quarterback. Not in Sean Payton's eyes. And if you believe what Sean Payton says that not only is Taysom Steve Young, that he paid him all that money, and that he is the guy. You only got one quarterback, maybe 2 quarterbacks under contract right now. You got Taysom Hill with that big money. He got 16 something odd $1 million in the second year, massive amounts of money. And of course, you got Jameis, who's unrestricted. He's not under contract right now in the season. Okay, he's done. He's unrestricted. You don't have a contract, meaning anybody can offer him something. And then you got Trevor Siemian, who's on the practice squad or an active quarterback there with some experience, but you're not looking upon him for doing anything. But the reality is Taysom Hill is the guy. That's what Sean Payton's telling you. Now, I don't like that, and I don't believe in that. Why? Because Taysom doesn't have enough experience to lead the Saints into the future. You know, I really do. And, of course, notice he got hurt on the back end, too. He missed some time, and Taysom's a tough dude, but notice how that punishment is starting to happen on him. When he played in that full month of football, he got really banged up pretty good. Guys were popping his ass. As opposed to you run off there and come on here. When you was out there, them guys was teeing off and giving them some smackdown. He missed a few games, missed the playoff game due to a neck issue. Remember that? Because, I mean, they was knocking him up out of there. He had to, and listen, remember he had a concussion right before the Chicago Bears in the back end of the Carolina Week 17 matchup where he was in there blocking and he went helmet to helmet with somebody. And I'm like, why the hell is Taysom Hill up in there? You know, and he got hurt. And then that kind of led his descent into the playoffs where he was missing the Chicago matchup as well. So with that being said, all I can say is this. Sean Payton listen, whether you believe it or not, Taysom Hill is making, matter of fact, I'll pull up the contract right now of Taysom Hill's deal. I'll show you tail right now because I believe in receipts on screen, so to speak. This is the Great Saint Think Tank, and I believe in screen. I believe in receipts on screen, baby. All right, give me just a second. I'll pull up the mighty Taysom Hill so you can see his contract for yourself. All right. Hold on here. We'll share it. Now, you tell me what. This guy's getting double-digit money. Give me a second. I'll share my screen here. This guy getting double-digit money. And Sean Payton already told y'all that this quarterback is in the building. He called the man Steve Young. He's making about $16 million. I remember he signed that deal, 2-year deal. Now, and they said he signed a 1-year deal, but actually it was a cheap last year, this past year going out. It was $841,000 that was on that cap. Now, what happens is that was his base salary this year that's going out. Now that this year is over with for the Saints, going into 2021's year, that next year deal on Taysom's arrangement jumps. As you can see right here, you can see the contract. This is the numbers right here. As you can see, look at this cap hit. He got a $16 million cap hit right there, right? And this is the base salary, 10.7. Then the signing bonus this year because they gave him an $8 million signing bonus, but broke it up into 2 years, which means you owe them that signing bonus money. And of course, they can restructure it a certain way. But anyway, then you got the roster bonus right there as well. So if you add all that together, that puts you at $16 million right there. 10.7 plus the 4 for the signing and then the 1.4 for the roster bonus right there. That's Mr. Taysom Hill for y'all, man. That's Taysom Hill's number. So when people ask me who the quarterback is, it got to be Taysom Hill. You're giving him $16 million. Plus he's Steve Young. Plus he's 31 years of age this year with limited QB experience. Now you think that's crazy? Well, what else is new? You know what's even crazier? The fact that the Saints lost in the divisional round to a team that they destroyed in the regular season by double digits. They lose to them by double digits in their own building. That don't make any sense to me either. But that's where we are. We in bizarro land right now. We are in bizarro land right now. Facts and stats on screen. So with that being said, fam, I'd like to thank all the family members for joining me in this edition of the Sports Coma. Much love to the great Saint Think Tank. Like I said, I wasn't going to be with you guys for too long on this edition, but I will come back on Friday's show. We'll do a lot longer show. We'll have we'll see about getting Black Suede in the building. We'll open it up for some for questions and answering, and we'll have a big powwow, whatever you guys want to talk about, Saints related. We'll answer questions. We'll hear from you guys on our Friday show. Of course, the Saints aren't playing for anything, but playing for the offseason. There's a lot of moves and things have been happening and shaking and stinking with the Black and Gold organization. And once again, you know what? And I'm going to say this, man, is that, you know, going into this upcoming season, there's a certain amount of optimism that I usually have going into each season. But after watching the trends and being a person that studied the mind like I do and believe in human trends, especially in how I profusely went at Sean Payton's neck and his head about how and, you know, what's going on, more from just in the schematic standpoint about running the damn ball and being disciplined. He actually did a great job of doing that this year. But I also talked about accountability, the type of accountability that a coach needs as an overseer of the team. I don't think listen, people have to start answering these questions. He won that Super Bowl a long time ago. That was over a decade ago. And I say that because things have changed. Things have changed because obviously out of 4 stabs at it, you can't get to the Super Bowl. And you keep losing in your own building. You know, you lost by double digits to a team. That makes no sense at all. And then you can't sit on your ass and say the referees did that. You can't sit on your ass and say that the Buccaneers cheated. You can't sit on your ass and say that the scheme wasn't there. The Saints had everything, including a deep roster and everything. They had home field advantage. They had everything and still lost by double digits. So I'm like, you took 4 stabs at it the last 4 years and you failed. So questions have to start being asked about, can this dude get it there? Could he get it done? He's like, well, yeah, he could do it, Q. He ain't do it in over 10 years. He ain't do it in over 10 years. It's amazing, man, to me that it's just where we are. It's like almost watching and trying to brief people that says, listen, man, you watch what they did to Doug Peterson. And then Swade asked me the question the other night, you comparing Sean Payton to Doug Peterson? Why the hell not? They both got one Super Bowl. They both got a Super Bowl apiece. You know, they both got a Super Bowl apiece. Doug Peterson got one, Payton got one. Why the hell not? He just did that in 2017. That sumbitch is fired. And they just put his replacement if he been there for several years, they got him up out of here. You know, they got him up out of here. And I'm saying if the guy can't get it done, will who that nation say as a collective, you know what? Sean Payton, possibly the game could have possibly changed, and he can't seem to get it done. He's a good play caller, but we don't need necessarily a good play caller. We need a head coach. We need a guy that oversees the entire team, that's not just enthralled with play calling responsibilities. Why have an offensive coordinator if you're not going to let him coordinate? Why let him do that? So that you let him coordinate, so that you oversee your team. You write down who's not catching the ball. You write down who's missing tackles. You write down who's fumbling, who's blown assignments. You do that. You the head coach. It's your responsibility. Leave the play calling duties to a dude that you've been rolling with, that you picked for over 10 years. If you can't trust that man to call the plays, I don't know what to say about that. I don't know what to say about that. But we gonna get him in the year. Listen, bro, I'm gonna keep it real with you. A lot of shit gotta change. And we talking about mentally, because we were more talented than any team in the NFL, but you got handled by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Handled by them. 4 turnovers in your own building. And they can't say they was just luck. It's not just luck, bro. It's not just luck. Stuff don't just happen like that. It just don't happen like that. It don't happen, man. And people, they're going to sit up here, they're going to blame Breeze and say Breeze is the dude. If it wasn't for Breeze, if it wasn't for Cook. But if you see Breeze struggling, what you supposed to do, bro? Huh? What you supposed to do if Breeze, you see Breeze, you the head coach, and you see him out there struggling, what the hell are you supposed to do? Huh? Huh? If you see Cook sorry ass out there, alligator arming passes, fumbling, what you supposed to do, huh? Huh? I'm talking to the people out there that want to blame these players and then absolve the guy who put the players on the field of any responsibility. It's ridiculous. Who has the power to see these guys out here struggling and to see that they ain't got it and to pull them out of the game and put somebody in there? Whose responsibility is that? But see, as long as you keep acting and thinking like that, your ass is going to continue to get the same results that we've been getting. This is a team that is not accountable. Accountable, disciplined teams do not turn the ball over 4 times in the playoffs in your own damn building. And see, and most of them ain't gonna never get it. You know, they're never gonna get it. You're never gonna get it. You got to open your mind up to understand that you have a window to win, and if you don't win within the window, somebody else is gonna take you from it. It's like people claiming credit for ideas that they never materialize or manifested. You cannot claim credit for an idea that came to you, and then you seen somebody in another state take that idea that came to you and manifest it into reality. It is not your idea if you didn't birth it into the world. If you didn't take that idea, didn't manifest it in anything and make it real and make it tangible. It is not your idea. I mean, it belongs to the person who manifested it, who brought it from the hazy reality of that dimension into this 3rd dimension. That's who it belongs to. And that idea will leave from you and go to somebody that can manifest it. That's how this stuff here works. And I say that to say, if we are people that pay attention to how shit go, you can't always look at the X's and O's, because the Saints offense and defense were top notch this year. The end result should have been a Super Bowl crown. But the fact that it isn't, you have to, of course, look at the guy at the head. What's going on here? And I keep telling you, accountability is a major part of the discipline formula. If you don't have accountability, you're going to have stuff like this occur. Disciplined teams do not fumble the ball, because a disciplined guy knows when he's running his goddamn ass across the field to protect the ball so it don't get poked out. A disciplined team, a guy knows how to catch the ball with his chest as opposed to use his hands where it can pop up in the air. Well, they know that. They teach them that. They know when to employ and use certain type of catches. They know that. But I'm not going to get into it. I'm going to leave it at that, because like I've been saying, over and over again. I don't know where you come from. A lot of people out there are into studying of the mind. And listen, that's if you want the truth, that's where you go first. Everything starts up here before it goes anywhere else. It starts up here. And if it ain't right up here, it ain't going to be right out there. So with that being said, before I get pissed off and go on a rant, I'm going to give you guys much love to you and say I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I thank y'all for chiming in the show tonight as well. I appreciate y'all. Remember, I'll be back Friday with a longer show, and we'll be breaking down. We'll open up the lines. We'll let you guys vent. And questions, concerns, comments, whatever you got, we'll do it all tomorrow on our Friday show. Usually it's the preview show, but we ain't previewing nothing but the goddamn off season. How about that? You know, never thought I'd be here, right? But it is what it is. We got to deal with it. So with that being said, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all for chiming in. Who that to you, and I'll see y'all later.
Yeah. Well, all right. Like you always say, welcome, welcome, welcome. #1 sports talking D. We ain't like the Falcons, we won't blow the lead. Look, all we talk is who that, who got cut and who back. Rookies and the vets, players you should look at. It's the sports coma, you don't wanna miss it. Got the pre-game, party, post-game statistics. Get a visit from Sway, maybe DC or 5. It's the hottest thing smoking, Big Q and the guys. Go to YouTube Live, make sure you subscribe. Interviews inside the Saints locker room high. Talk to Drew, Jordan, Zach, Payton, New Orleans, who that nation. Best believe when I say we bleed gold and black. Ain't a miracle or rivalry could ever hold us back. No, Beastquake, Bounty Gate, let the truth be told. It's the sports coma, all we know is say Super Bowl. Yeah.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that?
Live clean, eat cleaner. The only natural and patented produce wash. Eat Cleaner is a tasteless, odorless, and lab-tested line of food wash and wipes that is up to 99.9% more effective than water and cleaning wax. The only natural, patented produce wash in a 14-day study, applying Eat Cleaner all-natural fruit vegetable wash to a variety of fruit and 100 pure guaranteed vegetables. Also prolongs shelf life up to 5 times longer through a natural blend of fruit acids and antioxidants. This can help save your family on average of over $500 per year, reducing waste and making it easy to get your half plate of fruit and vegetables each day. Eat Cleaner offers a wide variety of solutions for food safety and shelf life extension for consumers, retailers, food service, and operators. USDA bio-based, OMRI listed for use on organic produce, non-GMO, vegan, gluten-free, made in the USA, lab-proven, and patented. So if you want cleaner fruits and veggies, try Eat Cleaner. Check the link in the description section below.
Tea is your escape. It's your opportunity to create a moment for stillness, for reflection, for yourself. It's your connection to a world of senses, flavors both exotic and familiar, energizing and relaxing. It's your retreat from an increasingly turbulent world. It's the perfect paradox of simplicity and complexity. Teabox.com connects tea to people, uniting the richest flavors of the finest teas with the curious, the cultivated, and the adventurous all over the world. The freshest tea you've ever tasted, from crop to cup. There's simply no simpler way to experience the wonderful complexity of tea. Teabox, packing up the freshness. Tea thrives on freshness, and so do they. Teabox temperature and humidity control facility ensure that tea is maintained. The teas themselves go into oblique bags with aluminum layers that protect them from excess moisture and light. With Teabox, shopping for fresh, loose leaf tea is easy because you make an informed purchase. You know exactly where your tea is coming from. So for the freshest teas in the world, check out Teabox.com. That's right, Teabox.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
The Klein's family has been getting people to go nuts for old nuts since 1995. As legends have it, a number of the Klein's friends who heard the idea said you can go nuts trying to name a store like that. In the excitement, the Klein's thought their friends said old nuts instead of go nuts and proceeded to throw caution to the wind. Old Nuts has over 2,000 items, bulk and wholesale prices of a whole lot of your favorite fruits, nuts, and confections. A selection of gift baskets for any budget, any occasion, and provides one of the best and impressively rated shopping experiences on the web. Fact is, between their selection, service, speed, or their online presence in the virtual mirror retail experience, they have developed an enviable client base that's comprised of personal and professional customers who count on their remarkable range of gift baskets. Think of gift basket, think about Old Nuts. Check them out, oldnuts.com. Check the link in the description section.
Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers. Tiger talk. Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.